The northwest side of San Antonio and the northeast side of San Antonio, I'm gonna tell you where the best place to live, and a bonus, the Forbes article has said, should you buy a home this year? I'm gonna tie the Forbes article to where to live in San Antonio. You're gonna love it. Some people hate the traffic, noise, congestion, amenities are terrible, tax rates, house is too expensive, house is too cheap. I'm Trey with the Calvary Group, Broker by Real. Let's dive right in. I made a Facebook post, and my friends on Facebook are all past clients, people I've worked with, and these are people that have no incentive to lie to you about where they live if they're unhappy or if they love it. Alongside of the Northwest San Antonio are the suburbs. So you have Helotes, Chavano Park, Fair Oaks Ranch, Bernie, Pipe Creek, Medina Lake, Bandera. These are all towns and parts of San Antonio that is very highly desired. The northeast side is encompassed of the city of San Antonio northeast side plus Universal City, Selma, Church, Garden Ridge, New Braunfels, all the way to Austin. That is the well-known 35 corridor, and there's been a lot happening in that area, but people don't love to live there. So out of the 80 comments I've had, the first trash talk of the northwest side is from Gary Rodriguez, who says, live in the northwest side if you love traffic. The northwest side of San Antonio has developed very, very fast, but they didn't improve the infrastructure as well as they should have, in my opinion. Philip says, west side is the best side. However, I live in the north central, so it's not the best side. I may be biased because I sell over there. Brian Bonneberger says northwest side so you can live near SeaWorld. Stacy says neither, but if I had to choose, it would be on the northwest side. So then I asked her, why did you pick the northwest side? She said it's closer to her husband's work. The northwest side has Lackland Air Force Base, and it has the Boeing Company and a couple of other major employers and manufacturing jobs. So the proximity to drive down from their work to home, you have Highway 90 and you have 151, which a lot of that community lives on the northwest side. Chris says, I'll take the northwest side all day. Jose said, I'm a northwest guy. He has both the Silverado, Casablanca, 5 minutes drive, multiple HEBs and Walmarts. A little further from me, you got the Palladium and La Cantera Mall. So this is something that you may love about the northwest side, or it is something you hate about the northwest side. So the Silverado and the Casablanca is a movie theater. They have arcades, bowling. But if you don't want those attractions and the traffic that comes with it, it may not be the side for you. Multiple HEBs is really good. You have the Walmart. That I can tell can be very convenient. Palladium is another very nice movie theater, and La Cantera is a gigantic strip mall that is really, really nice, but it also attracts heavy, heavy traffic. And they didn't mention in this comment, but they have Six Flags, which is also right there. So if you want things around you and things to do, that is the place for you. Another thing is these developments are already finished. I don't see a lot of new developments that are happening on the northwest side. So a booming home appreciation is not really something that I see in the near future. And you can buy a home on the northwest side from $300,000, $350,000, up to 500 plus thousand. They have beautiful, luxurious communities. But the traffic! Tim Macy says, we used to live on the northwest side, but we've fallen in love with the northeast. I think there are better restaurants on the northwest and better stuff to do, but I like to be able to go right up to Green, Texas, New Braunfels, Texas, and Austin. Some of the feedback we get from our clients who move to the northwest side, it is very commercialized. There's a lot of just chain grocery stores and restaurants, and it doesn't have the mom and pop store restaurant vibe that the northeast side does. Trey Nees said, I love living on the northwest side. I feel like any part of San Antonio you live in, it's like our own mini city because everything you need is somewhere close. I totally agree with you. The good thing they did when they developed these communities and neighborhoods is they made sure that the commercial real estate was near you and the schools were near you, so you really don't have to travel too much. The downside to these developments is it attracts a lot of the commercialized businesses that are already in place. Basically slap a store, slap a restaurant on, fill people, and it kind of pushes away the local restaurant feels. And Jeremy Lahia says, Southside, baby. Dane Marconi also said the Southside. Dane puts it perfectly. He says, no traffic, taco trucks literally everywhere, cost of living is good, access to 410, which is usually 75 miles an hour plus. No snoopy people that think they can own the road because of their overpriced car, just to name a couple of things. I agree with you for the most part. South San Antonio has a ton of developments, but their culture stays the same. If you look on this Google map, Southside traffic really isn't that bad. You have universities, you have manufacturing jobs, you have acreage, developments, and excellent tacos. And you don't have such a hustle and bustle like you do on the north side with the condensed businesses that are around. Ross Powell also said the south side. He was a client that moved and sold his house on the northwest side, moved far south to Atascosa County, where he bought 3 acres, a very, very beautiful historic home, and he absolutely loves it. He only paid $375 for 3 acres and this beautiful historic home. God bless. They don't call it the North best for nothing, and they mean me. Well, Mario, you are the best. Stephanie says, of all the places she's lived, the Northwest side is always superior, and I'm assuming she lived from San Antonio to Austin. She said she's always felt safer on the Northwest side of things, and it's prettier because of the hill country, which I totally agree. Northwest side is very beautiful for the views. And Linda says the hill country, but I'm assuming she means the far northwest side. I agree that the northeast side has a little bit of a different vibe. It has Elon's potential moves, it has a ton of manufacturing jobs. Prices on the northeast side, they range from anywhere as low as $250, $200 to $350, all the way up to the $500,000s. If you just look at price, it seems like you can get a newer house for a little bit less money on the northwest side. Maria says northeast all day, and she says because no traffic compared to the heavy north side. I feel like the city of San Antonio was a little bit more prepared with the infrastructure that they placed in the northeast side than they were on the northwest side. Anthony says, put me in the middle. I'm tired of driving 45 minutes to an hour to see friends on the opposite side. I totally hear you. You can pretty much get in and around San Antonio even with heavy traffic in about 30 minutes because of its web-based design. George says the northeast side. In my previous videos, I show that the San Antonio Board of Realtors has named San Antonio and New Braunfels considered the San Antonio greater area, and it's because of all the expansion that's happening from San Antonio all the way up to New Braunfels. Joaquin says, if you're buying in the northeast side, it has a higher tax rate, rents seem to be higher for lower quality. The homes on the northeast side inside the city of San Antonio does have a higher tax rate, but if you just go outside of the city of San Antonio limits into Guadalupe County, Comal County, you do get a break on your taxes because it's not in the city of San Antonio, but you do have to travel a little further if you want to be in the things that are going on in the city. Samantha says, depending on what northeast side, Church Cibolo is nice. Good schools too. But the only thoroughfare is 35, which sucks after 40 years of construction. Out by Johnson High School, especially north of there, is nice, and they're widening Boulevardy Road. Before I finish her comment, she's got a lot of good information here. According to niche.com, the school districts in Church and Cibolo have A ratings and is ranked 64 out of 1,000 of the best school districts in Texas. I think that's a really good deal. She says, I wouldn't recommend the Glen or any of those areas. The news keeps referring to the northeast side. So the question is, if you were to buy a house in this area, what would it cost? Houses in the Church Cibolo area range between $200,000 all the way up to $1 million. Now, if that's not diversity, I don't know what is. So as soon as they're done with the road expansion, I'm sure traffic will be a little bit easier. This article from KSAT San Antonio mentions the Glen and how it was annexed. Longtime residents who chose to stay in the area said gangs, drug, and activity at vacant houses were the norm. It would be calm for a while, then it got bad with drugs for a while, then it would be calm for a while, then things started to get trashy, said Willard Powell, an Army veteran who has lived in the Glen since 1974. This is probably the section that Samantha's talking about. D'Angelo says northeast all day, better school districts, access to major highways, 281, 35 to hit Austin, Dallas, or Houston. Faster access to the airport, much less road congestion. I totally agree. Home values increase higher on the northeast side. On this channel, I talk a lot about what's coming to San Antonio and the developments to hopefully give you some insight on some better home appreciation. Rebecca Cesar says, I lived on the northeast side for 20 years, very laid back, easy access to 35. I moved to the northwest side. Every day is tied up, aggressive, and I hate it. You have 14 for the northwest side, 12 for the northeast side, but then you have 2 that were north central, so I'm gonna put them on the northeast side. I think it's pretty neutral. The best place to buy a house in San Antonio is what is important to you. Summing up these comments, the Northwest side has a lot to do, has a lot of congestion, but it does have a lot of traffic. The Northeast side is up and coming developments and it's a little bit more expensive, and niche.com has good rating schools. And we know that the Southside has great tacos. According to Forbes article, it says, should you buy a house? It's a personal decision. If you're looking to move around the San Antonio area, our team would love the opportunity to work with you. Shoot us a message.